Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. This is episode 2 of the Nintendo Switch Witch Doctor Let's Play. Now, this is take 2. I had an absolute mare when I first tried to do this. I recorded it, had a lovely natter with myself for about an hour. Unfortunately, the capture card kind of screwed up and the game audio just kind of went over everything I was saying. So quality is quite important to me, so I've decided to just pick it up at episode 3. So this is kind of episode 3, kind of episode 2. But I don't know, it is what it is. So I think when we last left off, we were level 33, 32, now up to 61. So just bringing you up to speed with what we found. Got a Mantle of Channeling, which was a good drop. We've got a Halcyon's Ascent. This dropped on the last rift of the last video. Very excited. It's got a socket. Obviously at 61, that's quite important because we can get a legendary gem in there. We got a Broken Promises as well. 2 legendaries out the last rift. It was absolutely fantastic. And then other than that, we've just got some better gear as we're going. And at level 40, we busted this out. Obviously, it was doing pretty well. That reminds me, actually, in the stash, I think we might have a better one. Yeah, because we crafted 2 of these in the first episode. So we'll stick this one on because it is going to be better. So let's just see if we've got a gem to stick in this. We do. That is a little bit more damage. So that's nice. Probably should have gone for a green gem, but never mind. Now in terms of skills, what we're doing is Poison Dart with Spine Dart to get some mana back. We're taking Spirit Barrage, Spirit is Willing for resource. We've got the Gazing Demise in the cube still. Zombie Dog's Lifelink, we've still got that on. Soul Harvest Languish for extra armour, so that's quite nice. Spirit Walk Severance just to speed us up a little bit. We have Horrify with Frightening Aspect for some more armour. And then Cheat Death on the passive. Then we've got Rush of Essence for mana again. And also Jungle Fortitude for a bit of damage reduction. We did also find an Aquila Cuirass. We might get on the cube. Haven't found any DBs yet. And currently we are on Torment 2. So I think that pretty much brings us up to speed with where we were. And yeah, let's get going. So as similar to the last episode, thank you to everyone who has subbed and everyone who watched. Really surprised that many people were interested in watching this. So very, very grateful for that. And thank you for anyone who has been supporting the channel in whatever form that might be. So as I said at the last video, guys, if there's anything you want me to talk about, just let me know. If you stick it in the comments, I will definitely get to it. There's obviously plenty of things to talk about, but I'm more than happy to answer questions or discuss any kind of specific topics. So I think off the last video we had someone who was asking my opinion on what the next sets, what would I like them to be, or what do I think they'd be, and it's kind of, we've got DB, so that's a good start. So what I'd like the sets to be and what I think they will be, so we'll cover that. Beforehand though, I would just say this is obviously on softcore. I did want to do a hardcore one, but I think what we've decided is we'll do 3 strikes and out. So we'll give myself 3 lives. I didn't lose any on the last episode, but I'm happy to be guided by you. If I should lose a life for basically being a technological retard, then by all means let me know and we'll be down to 2. But until I get a response on that, I'll treat it like we've got 3. Torment 2's hitting us a little bit harder now that we're getting up into level 61, 62. But we can always drop the difficulty down a little bit. So not a problem if we do look like we're going to proc particularly easy. So something like that big charging Goliath, that will probably one-shot us and activate the Cheat Death. And we'll just sort of see how it goes. But if it does look like we're going to be losing a lot of life for just kind of lesser enemies, obviously we'll turn the difficulty down. Because don't really want to use a life up before getting to 70. You kind of want to keep them 1 or 2 maybe for a mistake. And then maybe when we're trying to like get a build together and push. So answering the questions from the last video, what would I like the sets to be? We'll start with the Demon Hunter because that's probably the easiest and quickest, because my Necro playtime far outweighs my Demon Hunter playtime, which probably is no surprise if you've been following the channel. Definitely Necro is my favourite class in the game. So for the Demon Hunter, I kind of expect it to be a strafe set. And the reason that I say that is because if you look at a couple of the changes that we've had recently, Barb has got Whirlwind juiced through the absolute roof. That's pretty much just a hold the button down and off you go. So quite straightforward. And the monk set, obviously Tempest Rush is like a clone of Whirlwind basically. It's the same sort of thing. You hold the button down and you whiz around the map. And obviously there are nuances to this in the higher up you go and the more difficult they are, but if you just want to be a casual player and you just want to get monk setup or barb setup, then realistically those two things are pretty good. You can stick eyes of them on and they'll be absolutely fine for you. So I think Demon Hunter may well benefit from that treatment. You know, Multi-Shot and Impale I think are both very kind of casual friendly builds, but I think Strafe probably would just be that little bit easier, so I'm kind of expecting that. Not sure whether that will be the case or not, but it seems to be something that seems fairly popularly requested. And if you look at the Savage set again, they have gone with kind of community feedback. They have listened to what people want. People have said we want the Frenzy Barb back, and you know, they duly obliged and passed that on. So I think probably Strafe is the most popular Demon Hunter thing not being used. But obviously if anyone plays DH a bit more, looks at the boards and the message boards and the forum a bit more than me, then I could easily be wrong on that. In terms of Necro, this is a class that I play a lot, and obviously we've got, I'd say probably quite a lot of the skills are already kind of covered in some form. They just need a little bit of a buff or a tweak, and you could see maybe that they could do that with a few things. But what I probably would like to see is more of a kind of pet focused build that isn't mages. So everything at the moment buffs all pets, so Rathma buffs all pets, Legacy Dreams obviously buffs everything. So what I'd like really is a specific set for pets that excludes mages, because mages is obviously, we've played it loads, we've done it to absolute death. It's very popular, it's obviously very strong, so you know, realistically if we could do something like Revive, I think would be pretty good. Revive's a really nice skill. You basically take a corpse and reanimate it, and it comes up with, I think it's a monster at random. I might not be right on that. It might be, depending on what type of corpse it is, what you kill is how it gets coded, but it looks to me like it's a random monster, and that would be kind of cool. I did hear that they actually spent quite a lot of development time getting that skill working, as in like it was quite difficult to code and put into the game. Ooh, handy, Bloodshard Goblins. So it would make a bit of sense for that to come back. So I think what we'll do is we'll go back to town here, because I don't really want to waste these blood shards, because obviously at 61 and upwards we're into the Reaper of Souls content, so we may as well try and pick up a few nice items. So not exactly sure how many blood shards were there, but we'll go for a pair of gloves. No. Shoulders okay, we'll do chest piece. Yeah, that's better, that's nice. Braces, yeah. And then should we take a boots? So there you go. Ooh, we already had a better pair, did we? But yeah, a couple of upgrades there, so that's quite nice. We'll get a. That's where the UI for this is a little bit clunky. Trying to sort out your gear and stuff. Let's get that on. Get those braces on. And then hopefully speaking that will be enough of the blood shards. Should be able to pick the rest up now. Nope. Never mind, we'll leave them. Carry on. There's quite a few there, I didn't realise it was so full, to be honest. But yeah, Revive would definitely be something that I'd like to see. Command Skeletons in like a non kind of Thorns capacity again also would be good. Obviously there might be issues in terms of if you buff Command Skeletons and do a pet set like that. You know, maybe that's difficult. Maybe you just end up with another Thorns build, which isn't very good. You know, don't really like that as a playstyle. I on the channel have covered Blood Nova and Death Nova quite a lot, so I really like that as a skill. Obviously it just kind of works off Anaris and Legacy Dreams, so a specific set for that I think would be pretty good. It's a very satisfying skill. It just needs some kind of some kind of work whereby, like with like Tempest Rush or some of the other skills, where it's like if it hits under 3 enemies, you get some kind of damage bonus. So that basically, because Death Nova is great for killing big groups of trash, but it's really pants against single target, which forces you to take Land of the Dead and Corpse Lance a lot of the time. So it'd be kind of nice if you could do like a Nova machine gun, like stacking with the Stricken, so you're basically just getting off lots of Novas. So I think that could be pretty cool as well. But I know the kind of revives would probably play a bit like Witch Doctor, but you know, a Necromancer is supposed to be a commander of the dead. That's obviously what the class is, you know, the archetype's supposed to be. So I would quite like that. Possibly even maybe a generator type build. I know we can use Siphon Blood to get free Novas, which is nice, and you know, Grim Scythe's a really good looking skill. The big kind of swiping out of the scythe is nice, so maybe something with that. I know, again, obviously that you can use that in Inarius and you can use it in Legacy of Dreams, but maybe something specific for that, something that maybe gives you a couple of the runes. Because I think there's one that maybe freezes, which obviously would be super handy to take, as well as the one that applies Curse. So I do think there's probably a few things that they could do. So I'm quite excited to see what the sets are. I really like the concept behind the Savage and the Hydra one that came out this last season. It's just the implementation of both of them probably wasn't as good as it should have been, as in the sets probably need a little bit more punch, because the Barb set realistically has to be a push set. That I just can't see any of the capacity that you use it for as a solo player. It's not going to be very good for bounties, not going to be good for gem ups and speed farming, because it's just got no wave clear, and it's not fast enough, doesn't move quick enough to do like elite sniper, and Whirlwind's just miles better than it at pretty much everything. Nasty Rift Guardian this, but it should be okay. So with that in mind, I think maybe it should have been the top Barb build. I think that would have been quite nice if, you know, you'd had to do Whirlwind to do your gems, do your keys, and then maybe had the Savage set as the top push build. I think that would have been pretty good. Right, not too far off 70 now. Let's see, what loot did we get? Don't think we got anything better, did we? No, let's salvage all that. Probably should have hung on to that level 40 weapon. That shouldn't have auto salvage. Why did that auto salvage? Doesn't work like that on PC. If you put a transmog on, it won't take it off you. That's a bit of a whoopsie for leveling another character, but never mind. I suppose in theory we'll have the Gem of Ease, won't we? So we'll have a proper way of doing it. So let's spend a few more shards. Nice. Crit damage, crit chance gloves, we'll take that. That will help us out a bunch. And then maybe we'll go shoulders. Don't really like any of them. Chest piece. Yeah, that's better. It's got 3 sockets. So have we picked up any marquee gems? Any others? Yeah, ooh, an Imperial. Oh, we could get that in the Helm, couldn't we? Good idea. Get that in the Leorics for the last few levels. So if we take out that, then that means, and we'll take that out for the crit damage as well. So if we put this in the Leorics, we're now getting a huge amount of damage. Huge amount of extra damage. Not extra damage, extra XP. Stick that in there for an extra 100% crit damage. And then I guess we'll go... We may as well put something in these rings just for the sake of it. And then we'll do all res in here. And we'll stick that in there. Again, not ideal, I'll take them out later. But just to keep us moving. Because obviously we want to get to 70 as quick as we can. Now, somebody asked me this morning if we could do Shadow and Pale on the channel. I have done it previously. I can do it this season. Obviously, I've got a Demon Hunter that I've rolled. I mean, I've had so much fun playing this season, and I think one of the reasons mainly has just been because I've played every class. So definitely happy to try and cover some build suggestions at this point, because honestly, I really don't know how long this season's going to last. I did look on the forums, tried to get a bit of information to see if there was any kind of announcement about like an extension or any kind of, maybe there'd be something going on, like more information about when it's going to end, because you'd have to expect that COVID's going to have an impact. But there were quite a few people on there suggesting they don't think it'll make a difference. The team should be able to work at home. There's probably not that much to do anyway, in terms of, it depends what the theme is. I'm not so sure. I really wouldn't be surprised if, because obviously we know that seasons do get extended from time to time, so I wouldn't be surprised if we've got, maybe another month or two of this season. But if things were running on their normal cadence, it would be PTR fairly soon. Right, I need to pay a bit of attention here, because we could maybe get ourselves a kill streak. Just need to make sure we keep chaining this together. But Blizzard have been very quiet on the forums. There's obviously the community manager left a little while ago. Doesn't look like there's been a direct replacement. Radio silence has reigned supreme. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. But assuming we do carry on, then obviously we've got to kind of fill the time somehow. I've got quite a few builds that I need to fill out. My ultimate goal at the end of the channel is to have like playlists with every kind of build, so each class has got all the builds filled out, and then we just update them as we go. So if something changes, like a couple of items or a set gets reworked, then we can come back and redo it. So that's kind of why I've made a few extra accounts on PC this season. So I've got one specifically now for Strength class, I've got one specifically now for Dex and for Int. So obviously I've had to build both of those up over the last couple of seasons, because I don't get like stacks of time to play the game. I would like to spend a bit more time. I know I could get further if I had more time, but obviously the whole kind of point of the channel and the way that I play is it is casual. It's, at the start of the season I might play a bit more, but in general, if I spend a couple of hours playing the game in a day, I'm fairly lucky. I've obviously got, other bits and bobs going on. But there's still quite a lot of builds to cover. Like Crusader, I think I haven't really covered very much. Again, that's just because I rolled the Strength account last season and concentrated pretty much on Barb. I think I talked about this in the episode that never was, which is why I kind of swapped over from hardcore, because my initial thought was to do Strength on hardcore, because Seda and Barb are obviously both pretty tough classes. But again, with the amount of time that I put into the game, I just can't risk losing the characters. It's just too painful. Because I think, was it last season? I think I started off Crusader hardcore, played that a fair bit, rolled a Barb, found myself a primal Bulkathos blade. It's absolutely ecstatic. It's rare that I find a primal weapon that I can use. It's one of the things that does give me a lot of joy, is finding primals that I can actually put in a build. Sit there, look at it, nice little red icon. I know it's silly, but it's just something I enjoy. I was made up to find it, and I think I used it for about 20 minutes before I ripped my character, doing a set of bounties no less, which was really disappointing. I mean, on hardcore normally I don't do T16. I normally just stick to T15, because I played hardcore on Xbox for, I don't know, a good couple of years, I think. Just because I enjoyed it. It's nice way of playing the game. The extra thrill of risking everything on the line kept it kind of interesting. But trying to create content and the risk of losing, progress, items, gem levels. Absolute thumbs up and props to people like Leviathan who play on hardcore all season and risk everything repeatedly. It's just I don't have the time to put in the game. But otherwise, hardcore I think is something that everybody could do with, at least experience. It does make you learn the game almost in a different way, because there's certain things that you have to learn a little bit more about positioning. And obviously maybe not I'm making great examples of this because I'm chatting, so I'm not really concentrating, but it does make you appreciate what to avoid, what you can stand in, what you can't, the dangers of walling, getting trapped, and being able to have skills like Spirit Walk on the Witch Doctor. That means that you can just like pop it and whiz through all that stuff. Learning on maps how to kind of like funnel enemies like this, so you have to kind of keep them coming to you through a little like passageway or something like that. Learning all your damage reduction, how it works, where it comes from. So I would say it's a worthwhile go having at least one hardcore character. But I can also equally understand the counterpoints to it, which is that I play this game to relax. I don't want it to be stressful, and also dying sucks, and I really don't want to lose everything. I think that's where I think that's something that PoE's probably got. I like that kind of system that they've got there. It's not a game that I've played. Must be honest, haven't played PoE for more than, I don't know, maybe half an hour. I fired it up, started playing it, just didn't grab me. Can't really sort of say exactly what it is. But the hardcore system, the way I understand it in there, looks really good. As in, if you lose your character, it just gets transferred over to softcore. So it's still got, a fairly harsh penalty. 1 death, you're out, you can't compete anymore, you can't play that game mode. But at least you don't lose everything, so there isn't that kind of mega sense of loss maybe. So I think I probably would quite like it if it worked the same way on Diablo. As in, when you lost your character on hardcore, you could choose to maybe turn it over to softcore. I think that would be quite good. Right, well hopefully this is only 1 or 2 more rifts and then we should be at 70. Just wondering whether to put the Aquila Cuirass. Oh, that's handy. That's got a socket, so that's quite nice. We'll keep that because we can put a legendary gem in there. Just wondering whether it's worthwhile putting the Aquila in the cube. Probably not going to get much benefit from it. Right, here we go. This is crafting, isn't it? 12 dB, so another 13 we can do another upgrade. So we'll probably go for a ceremonial knife again, I think. Try and get something good. But early game, obviously, this is kind of the struggle, isn't it? You're trying to get your DBs and making sure that you're progressing your character. Because obviously it's the multipliers. I haven't really planned out what I'm going to do when I get to 70. So I'm not sure whether to go for the Legacy of Dreams, which is kind of normally what I do when I play the game. I understand it's horrendously inefficient sometimes. Depends on the class, depends on the set, depends on your RNG. But I really dislike the busy work of the season journey. Bounties in general, I must complain about that in quite a few videos. It's, doing them in public is fine, because obviously it really cuts down on the time. Doing them solo is how I used to do them for a long time, particularly on Xbox, where you couldn't really risk partying up with people you didn't know, because you could get some person who drop in the game and give you 2,000 Paragon, or like those glitched items like we went over in the Switch leaderboard video. But it's just the density, the game thrives off density. Lots of things have got like on hit, on kill mechanics. You've obviously got kill streaks, and it's just playing the game outside of rifts. It just doesn't feel quite the same. Just isn't quite as much fun. So anything that tells me I've got to go here on this difficulty, go kill that boss in the normal game, I just kind of, I don't know, don't really enjoy it. I suppose maybe I should just suck it up and do the hour or 2 that it takes. But particularly if this is going to be an SSF series, you don't really want to be doing the full 25 bounties. So maybe we'll just do Legacy Dreams. Can certainly start off that way, and then maybe you guys can let me know in the comments should we go the season journey route or should we go for the legacy dreams? But I think it's Eric here is what we start with. Probably one of my least favourite sets in the game. Creature skills bonus is fine, but I think its strongest build is Firebats, and I've just never really warmed to that as a playstyle. I don't know whether it's like the area of effect seems quite small and you've got to kind of stand there whilst stuff walks up to you and attacks you. It's just never really kind of been my cup of tea, so I've never really played it too much. But I've been thinking a lot about Diablo Immortal recently, because obviously I was expecting that to come out. I think I started my channel, I don't know, a good 15 months ago, and at the time of starting it I thought, oh, we've probably got like a couple of months before Diablo Immortal comes out, and you know, I'm interested in covering that. We'll have a look at it. Fingers crossed it's a good game, fingers crossed it is not a kind of one of these cheesy mobile titles, you know, with energy and stacks of microtransactions and pay for progression. You know, maybe it's going to be like a good ARPG, because I have tried to find like an ARPG on mobile, because I think it can be done, and obviously again going back to Path of Exile, they think it can be done. They're, you know, quite committed to Path of Exile mobile. Obviously the kind of like buttons is an issue, because if you've got controller support on a mobile, then any game can function really well. Like I'm doing quite a bit of Call of Duty recently on you know, like COD Mobile, and it functions perfectly well with a controller. The difficulty obviously is if you're going to kind of market it as a mobile game, then you've got to be able to play it with the touchscreen. And you know, you think about something like Diablo or Path of Exile, you know, you've got, what have we got? We've got 6 different skill inputs for Diablo and a potion, so that's 7 buttons, 7 screen presses you've got to do. So I think the only one that I really gave any kind of time was Eternium on the phone, and that had kind of weird system. You had to like swipe the screen to do moves, so depending on how you swipe the screen would depend on what move you do. So I suppose that in theory would open up potentially more kind of inputs for you to go through, so that you wouldn't just like be relying on 1 or 2 buttons. Obviously you can have button combinations maybe on the left and right side of the screen, so I think it can be done. It's just like mobile games, obviously it's just all of it's so cartoony. Everything's kind of very you know, obviously the art style in this game got criticised for a while, because people wanted basically Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, which is really dark and gritty, and it's nice to see that D4 is going back to that. But lots of the mobile games are just, you're kind of aimed at kids, I guess, really, with the kind of very overly cartoon, you know, not much more cartoony than this, say. And I think that is one of the reasons why Raid Shadow Legends has been so popular. And I know that game triggers a lot of people, and I can totally understand that people think it's trash and they don't like the, you know, the monetization system in it and buying progress and buying packs. But I think the main reason that I can gather why it's been successful is mainly because of its art style, as in it looks like it's properly made for adults basically, and you know, obviously it's got a load of the kind of classic gotcha mechanics in it and stuff, but it's just not cartoony. Like most of the main rivals to that game are just really cartoony, so they've got better structures, they're better games, but they just don't look right. And I know graphics isn't like the be all and end all of everything, but if you're going to spend a lot of time playing a game, you know, you probably want it to look a certain way. I don't know, maybe one thing we'll find out about that will be when Minecraft Dungeons comes out, because my son's 9, he's pretty keen to play that. Obviously, you know, he knows I play Diablo. I don't let him play this because I just, well, one, he's not really terribly interested, but Minecraft Dungeons, he has expressed an interest, and it will be interesting because Minecraft came along obviously a while ago now, but really shook things up because the graphics were terrible, absolutely terrible, but it was just interesting because people focused on the kind of the gameplay. Again, obviously, yeah, pretty much a kid's game. Oops, oh, proc there. Let's be a little careful. Maybe it's time to whiz this down to Torment 1. Yeah, let's do that. Let's change this down. Don't want to be using up a life. And we should be able to leave it on this now until we get the Legacy Dreams gem. But it will be interesting to see whether Minecraft Dungeons, because if the like mechanics in it are good and if the game works, is it going to be something that people are going to try? You know, I'm keen to try. I'm like open for anything. But again, it might just be the style just, you know, doesn't fit. Oh, this could be handy. Would be much better to find this at 70. But never mind. Get some good resources, some DBs, so that's very helpful. What, a sword? That's probably no use. Are we full? Yeah, we're full. Can I pick up the gems? No. To go back and empty. Must have forgotten to empty everything the last time we went back. That is definitely the downside of the UI on the Switch, because it's really hard to actually tell. You have to remember to look down in your inventory slots just to see how much stuff you've got. So we've still got 26 things. So I guess that's all the gems, isn't it? So we need to get rid of them as well. So let's go over here and dump the gems that we now don't want, which is going to be all of these. Right, drop is X. Again, stuff like this is just so much easier on the PC. So let's ditch all these because we don't want them. It's not worth the time ranking them up, basically. And then we need to remember not to pick them up once we drop them, because that would be hella annoying. So let's get rid of these. Alright, now down to 8 items, that's better. Let's gobble up all this stuff. Hopefully some of it is better. The gems are really handy to get, actually. You know, getting some of them's quite useful. Tell you what, we'll carry on with the rest of this rift. Might be at 70 by the end. So I don't know if we get a keystone. If it pops 70 at the time, we might have to come and do another one to get keystone. But at least we can then start on the Paragon grind. And we might actually be at 25 DBs now as well. So that would be quite handy. I can't remember if we have to start the rift at 70 to qualify for a keystone. Can't quite remember. So maybe we'll just make sure we get to 70 before we start. Maybe go do the Fields of Misery just to make sure we're up to 70 if we don't make it. Oop, frozen. Yeah, it looks like we've got enough toughness to handle Torment 1 even at 70. And we can go and spend some shards then as well. Get some level 70 items. Blighter is not one of my favourite Rift Guardians. We need to gear the Templar out as well because he keeps dying. So not at 70. So let's go back and hand it in and then see if we can't pick up some more XP. Right, so DB's 25, that's nice. That's no use. Do we get any upgrades for anything? Probably need to save a helm, just because. Well, we can roll shards, can't we? I suppose. Shall we swap this ring? A little bit more damage. Get rid of all that, and I think I can't remember whether we get a keystone or not. So what we'll do is we'll just go do Fields of Misery, and hopefully this will get us up to 70 if we can change some stuff. This just isn't as effective for me as it is on on PC. I don't know if that's just my crummy playstyle, but always used to watch the leveling videos when I was playing console, and it was always do the Fields of Misery, do the Fields of Misery. And obviously, you know, after you play the console for a little while, you realise you get the Nephilim bonus and you get the ability to chain Masker bonus in Rifts, which obviously is very handy. Really good for getting some extra Paragon, so you never know, we might beef on some Paragon pretty quickly. But on PC I'm sure this would be much more densely populated. You wouldn't really have any problem getting a kill streak going, but at the moment there's not much around. I think there's a keyboard in here, so I don't know if that's a task that we could do. No, must be after 70. Again, my knowledge of the season journey is shockingly low because I just don't do it very often. Probably should do. Should do it more. Again, like set dungeons, it's another thing I really don't like doing. Just the like I'm quite up for a challenge, but it's all the kind of go here, do this specific thing in this specific order. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just the limiting nature of it, just the fact that you can't do it how you want to do it, you've got to do it this way. Maybe it's just because I love rifting so much, I don't really know. But nearly there.
Poor fools that they are, they haven't the slightest idea what to do with it. I have some idea of what to do with their daughter, though. And through her, I'll get my prize.
So there we go, we look like we're about to make it to 70 without losing any lives, so that's, you know, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Not ready yet.
Just going to get the last couple enemies. And then we can start to make some big boy decisions at 70, I guess. So there we go. It's not too bad. So how long has that taken? That has taken, what was the first episode, 1.5 hours, then an hour on the lost episode. So yeah, not too bad, just over 3 hours. Right, oops. This is probably not going to be an upgrade. Nope. And I suppose we may as well stick that on. We could extract, so the DBs we could use to either do an upgrade or some more extracting. So we've got the ceremonial knife from the first episode, haven't we? Not a very good one though. Tell you what, let's gamble. Let's do a knife and see what we get. What do we want? We want the upgrade rare item, and we're hoping to get not that one. Maybe that was not the right thing to do. But with the benefit of hindsight, just wondering, is it worth just sticking with the two-handed weapon? Because they're both rubbish. So let's stick with the two-hander. We'll put the Leorix back in the stash because we might want to extract that once we get some more DBs. And we're going to go through this gear and roll some 70 stuff. Pants. Okay, I guess. Belt. Yeah. Those gloves are going to be hard to get better than. Necromancer damage on the shoulders. Not much use. Ooh, that's nice. Nice legendary, that'll do. That'll do as well. And I think So maybe we'll go for Emojo, spend the rest on that. Thing of the Deep, that's quite a nice one. So if we went with that and say Last Breath, I think this one's got higher damage, Spider Queen. So 184k damage, yeah, so we're doing more damage as well, perfect. An extended pickup radius. So let's go put that, no we don't need to keep the weapon, don't need to keep it. Oh no, I didn't equip all that stuff, did I? I've just salvaged it. What a plonker. What a plonker. Never mind. Oh, guys, don't be a divvy like me. Again, that's it. It's the UI just makes it so difficult, because on the... I mean, stuff like that used to happen to me all the time playing Xbox, but the UI on PC obviously means that you get to see everything. So stuff like that just doesn't happen. But never mind, we'll get some more shards, we'll get some more gear. The helm was the best piece anyway. So there we go, first Paragon level, so that's not too bad. And obviously we're now on the kind of lookout for better items, and I missed this pylon down here. How did I miss that? Paragon 2. We're cooking now. Absolutely cooking. But DBs are pretty important. Yorick's Crown is probably useful, and this is helpful. Double goblins, so got some plans there. So we need to do this before I forget. So that's a slight advantage, you don't have to go back to town to do that like you do on PC. You can just auto pop them. Probably should be adding the Paragon levels as we go, but yeah, let's put them on. So move speed, yeah, and then what do we want? Probably cooldown. It's normally a good one to go for first. Then we'll take armor and resource cost reduction. If we get to the point where it looks like the mana is pretty full a lot of the time, then we can go back and extract the Aquila Crass maybe. But this is where the game really starts to become fun for me, the kind of running through this, and you know, every time you kill something there's a potential... Oh, that hasn't paused. Occasionally that does happen on console, you can be very careful on hardcore. But a piece of Eric here, that's potentially useful, because that means that now we need one less. If we find another piece of Eric here, we've only got to do a little bit of the season journey to get the 6th piece. So thank you, RNGesus. Let's keep our fingers crossed for another piece. But I presume the way out is left. But we'll just have a little look down here, see if there's anything worth killing. Yeah, a couple of mobs. Some more chances for DBs. So that's good, that's another one. And we could craft canes, couldn't we? We should have the mats to do that. Not canes, sage is set, sorry. So we can get double DBs. So we can do that as well, to remember. Probably should have written myself out a little checklist of stuff to do. That probably would have been a good idea. Maybe I'll do that for next time. But double DBs would be handy. But then, again, it's always a judgment call, because you can craft it and stick it on, but you're going to end up losing out on Legacy of Dreams gem once you get it, because obviously you can't use that on the set. I think we've got a Challenge Rift on Monday again, so I'll have another Challenge Rift bag probably by the time I film the next one. So again, some more mats there, so that's pretty handy. But yeah, I think we've probably done everything worth doing out of this level, so we'll make our way to the exit. It always takes much longer than you think to get to GR70. That's kind of like always my first benchmark of any kind of season and new character. Get up to 70, get the primals unlocked. I think that would be something cool to change as well, if I could do in the game, is I would make it so that every time you cleared 70 with a fresh character on the season you got a primal. So if you wanted to, you know, let's say we played Witch Doctor for a bit and we decided we wanted to re-roll a barb, going past 70 for the first time, I'd probably make it so that you got another primal. I don't see there'd be anything too OP with that. Slight little kind of encouragement, bit of benefit to get people to roll multiple classes. You know, I mean, taking that idea further, I also think maybe every kind of extra 10 GRs you do, or extra 5 GRs, again, should maybe be another primal. So first time you do 75, first time you do 80, 85. I mean, obviously in today's game, maybe that would be too many primals, I don't really know. Maybe you could do it every 10. But again, that would be something nice. I like in general in the game, it would be kind of nice if they turned on the double bounties. Obviously we covered that in the double goblin video, but I think that would probably particularly, I suppose maybe it's something to keep up your sleeve. If the season's going to be delayed, you say, right, well, sorry guys, it's going to be a month down the line, but at least we do have double bounties for you to keep you tied over. So that could be something. Right. Ooh, let's get out of the way of the freeze. So, Paragon at 11. And another legendary item, set of boots and a rift key, so we can go get the Legacy Dreams gem now. So that's quite nice. So what did we get? Did we just get the one legendary, I think? The Iron Toe Mud Sputters. We'll stick them on. Extra move speed. We're missing life, that's fine. We're going to save these ceremonial knives because we're probably going to want to upgrade them, and initially in the season you're always starved for resources. So let's do a shoulders. Let's equip them this time instead of salvaging them. Then a belt. Okay, stick that on, a bit more damage. Now we could craft sages actually, so we can stick that on. And then I think we'll probably leave it at that because we'll go get the Legacy Dreams gem. Let's stick the Paragon points on. Move speed, we want to be quick. Do cooldown again, and armor again. And resource cost. How many DBs did we get? So we've got 25, nearly 25 again. So again, it's always a bit of a balance. We're looking obviously for the Barber really, for a multiplier or a Sacred Harvester. So again, it's always a question: do you want to keep pumping the knives? And I don't think I wanted to do this, did I? I wanted to do an actual rift. Never mind. I can't be bothered closing the game and starting again. So we'll do this, and then we'll do this, get a key, and then we'll do the Legacy Dreams gem. We'll call it a day at that. That's a good place to end. Right, what else do we have to talk about? I suppose the biggest controversy at the moment in the video games industry is popping up a lot on my feed is The Last of Us 2. Now I'm an Xbox guy. I would like to have a PlayStation, but I just don't have the time. Most of my game time is obviously D3, probably accounts for, I guess, 80%. So occasionally I do play other things. I would like to branch out into more stuff, but I've never kind of really thought I'll get a PlayStation, just because whilst I know I'd love some of the PlayStation exclusive games, I've just never really bothered doing it. So it's not a topic that I know tons about, but it just seems absolutely wild that people are discussing that game, giving their opinions on how they think the story that's reportedly been leaked sucks, and that the channels are like getting copyrighted strike just for giving negative opinions. It's like freedom of speech, I think, is quite important. It's something I kind of stand by. I think people should be allowed to have their say on things. So I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact the epidemic we've got at the moment is having on us, because I know movies has been slightly affected, because I think the Trolls movie, which obviously I was going to take the kids to see maybe at some point, they like the first one, so all things being equal, no pandemic, we'd probably be going to cinema to see that. And I think they've released it straight to digital, so they've said, well, obviously you can't go to the cinema, we don't want to lose the money from the release, and I think it's been quite popular, made them quite a lot. So they've sort of said, the studio that made it sort of said, well, maybe we'll consider doing this in future for movies. And a few of the cinema chains in the UK have been absolutely not, because that pretty much, you'd guess, would just kill the cinema industry if you just released all main movies onto digital download straight away, or at least streamable straight away. I could see lots of people opting for that just because it's so easy. It's the convenience, isn't it? And maybe ultimately that's where it'll go. But going to movies is something I've always enjoyed. I do find on the big screen stuff's much better, so that would be a bit of a shame. But it's just going to the movies doesn't seem very popular anymore. It's like it always used to be, absolutely sold out, really difficult to get tickets for stuff until it had been out for a few weeks. And now, unless it's like an absolutely major A-list, AAA title at the movies, you can go, it's not too busy. But it'll be interesting to see if game development's affected, if things do take longer. I mean, obviously lots of work can be done remotely on video games, because obviously lots of it's computer based, but I don't know, it would be a shame for things to start getting delayed. But I'm also kind of interested as to whether any other ARPGs move over into the console space. Again, I know Path of Exile does it, and I really probably should sit down and give that game a bit more time. But I do just really like D3. It's the smoothness of the combat, I think, that makes it, and I think that's just one of the main reasons why I didn't really get on so well with Wolcen. I did try and give it a good go. I did play it quite a bit when it came out over a period of 2-3 weeks, and I think I ended up just completely losing my temper with it, and putting a video out saying this is just an absolute buggy mess. And I think what it was is, whilst it was good and the skill tree in it was the kind of rotating skill circle, I guess, skill sphere, was a really cool concept. I could absolutely really get behind that. But the combat just felt a little bit clunky. It just wasn't like D3, it just wasn't ultra smooth. There was always like a little bit of a stop or a stutter. And I think that's that's the thing that you really need to crack. An ARPG you're going to be playing for a long time. It's going to be much better for everybody if it's nice and smooth. But it's a big genre, and it would be like, I can kind of see why Blizzard are focusing on console a little bit, because there must be quite a lot of people. They've obviously got the sales numbers for the Switch, they've got the player data. I just don't believe for a second that a company that essentially is owned by Activision would be concentrating on couch co-op and console if there weren't the players there, if there wasn't the demand. And it's probably got fairly decent Monopoly, I would have thought, because I can't really think there's many people playing Path of Exile on console, because obviously Path of Exile is just like the absolute antithesis in terms of its core principles as an ARPG. It's designed for hardcore, you know, nothing's like easy to reset, everything looks pretty difficult in it. So it will be interesting to see whether anybody does make one. And it's a new Torchlight game, so that presumably will go to console. Obviously Minecraft Dungeons, as we mentioned earlier, will be on console. So we'll have to kind of see. Right. Is that the token of invulnerability for the follower? No, it's not even a legendary one. But we can upgrade that. So let's stick it on him for now. Get that challenge done. And then, have we picked up anything better? Slightly better pair of shoulders. And then the ring is better, but it doesn't have a socket. So we'll go for this one with slightly more damage. And we'll put the channeling shoulders in the stash just in case we want to extract them, although I don't really think we will. And then we've got a couple of pings on the blood shards, so let's do braces. Coils of the first spider, well that pairs really well with Arakir, doesn't it? So let's get those on. Probably not going to put fire bats on, but it's an option, so we can think about that for the next episode maybe. And we're out of blood shards, but we can do Last Rift and see if we get the Legacy Dreams gem. We should do. So I think what we're going to do is, we're on Torment 1 and that's pretty easy, so let's do 12 and then we should get all the upgrades on the Bane of the Powerful. We've got to do 2, haven't we? We've got to do this one to get the Bane of the Powerful, and then the next one's Legacy Dreams. So we'll do that, we'll get the Bane of the Powerful, and we can kind of decide for the next one, do we want to go for the Legacy Dreams or Season Journey? And I think the last thing we'll do will be we'll do another upgrade on the knife, I think. We'll go for it. Because obviously if we get the barber, then we might just go Legacy Dreams. That maybe makes the decision for us. It's a pretty nice multiplier. Don't think I'd have Paragon on either. I mean, it's not mega essential, but obviously the goal really is to start working your way through the torments just as quick as you can, because more torments is more XP, more Paragon levels, more chances for items to drop, more DBs, just more everything. So, you know, the sooner we can get it cranked up to T2, then T3, so on and so forth. But obviously it's fairly difficult to make all the right decisions whilst chat as well. But we'll do our best, we'll see what we can do. And somebody did say, and I confess I don't know the answer to this, is that the console boards are infinite. So after we've completed this, we should get our name on the leaderboard. But whether that's true or not, because when I did that Switch video highlighting just how bad the leaderboards were on here with the cheaters and the hackers, I think I gave up at around number 300, 300, something like that. Just looking for people doing 150s with triple socket, you know, braces, amulets and all that crazy kind of stuff. So I don't quite know how far down that like cheating spreads, but it looked like almost, you know, I mean, if it carries on through the top 1,000 players, that's just nuts. I mean, it kind of, again, maybe shows the popularity. You know, there's a few things that maybe give you the indication about that, because if there's that many people cheating on it, like, you know, to cheat and hack on the game surely must be rare. That must only be a very small, minuscule amount of the player base. And if there's that many doing it, then maybe it does kind of suggest the player base is actually quite high on the Switch. And obviously you've got Xbox and PlayStation. I suppose probably there's maybe not that many people playing on those platforms, but there must be some. But yeah, always the most enjoyable part of the season is this kind of early bit for me, looking through the drops. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why, you know, the pace of the game is just a little bit screwy. It is a little bit off. Again, it suits casual players. I think a lot of the changes they made probably do suit the casual people like myself, because it is very easy to gain power. It's easy to get more kind of feeling like you're getting towards endgame. But obviously some of the drops that you can get are just absolutely ludicrous, and the multiplier system, just the way that kind of snowballs massively out of control, means that you can find drops that mean you can jump, you know, a couple of torments with one item, and that's a little crackers. That shouldn't be that quick. And I suppose that's just probably just the way the game's designed. You know, but maybe that's for the best. Maybe that's why I like it. Maybe that's why lots of casual people like it, because you know you can commit that 10 or 15 hours and have a build that makes you feel a bit like a badass. Whereas if you were to put 10 or 15 hours into like Wolfson or Path of Exile, you know, you're not really going to get very far. So maybe the casual nature is of benefit. And it looks like that's the way D4's going. A casual kind of experience. You know, kind of like, it looks like Diablo 3, but with a better art style and better graphics, and, you know, some extra kind of mechanics maybe and stuff like that. And again, you can kind of see why some people would be disappointed with it. Personally speaking, I really like Diablo 3. Obviously, I based an entire channel around it, so that to me would be fine. I'd be quite happy with that. So here we go, Rift Guardian, just the legendary gem by the looks of it. So get this ranked up to 5. We'll go do the upgrade and then we'll call that a day. Yeah, flunked it on the last one, never mind. So Ceremonial Knife, obviously Sacred Harvester would be amazing. I think even Vu's Juicer would probably be okay. Speaking to the wrong person. So let's do one of these out the cube. And then we're going to go upgrade rare. Come on RNGesus, help us out. Reduce the cooldown of Fetish Arming Big Bad Voodoo by 1 second each time your fetishes deal damage. That could be useful. Might use that. Probably not. Right guys, well that's it. That's the end of episode 2/3. Hopefully I haven't mucked this one up. But as I say, thank you very much for watching. If there is anything you want me to talk about in the next episode, stick it in the comments. And I'll be back probably early next week with the next episode. Take it easy. Hope you're staying safe. Up in the Filthy Casual. See ya.